How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I think I dropped my coffee on this beautiful couch that I'm sitting on. So, that's wonderful. Um, I I low-key hit record twice and I tried filming, and actually the reason that I was like, okay, let me film is because I was feeling myself because I just like got my makeup done and I'm ready to head out and so I was feeling confident. I was like, I look good. Let me just film a video. But actually, I do have something on my mind that I've been wanting to talk about. So I was like, this is probably a good time. I have about maybe half an hour before I head out to meet up with some friends. So here we are. Um, I want to talk about the decisions that we make, uh, and mainly coming from like somebody in their 20s, me. Maybe kind of like the life decisions that we make and how we deal with like knowing what how to make decisions, and also kind of letting go of that fear of like, okay, if I take this decision, the result is going to be something that I don't know, so I shouldn't be afraid, you know? Easier said than done, of course. But I think I'm learning stuff and I think I want to share it. So, what better way than doing a YouTube video? Um, I think the biggest thing that I'm learning is patience. And I know people talk about that a lot, and like patience is definitely a common concept that you have to like acquire in your life to be okay and to live a good life, is learning how to be patient. Um, I think I'm also trying to adopt this mentality that like I don't really want to have regrets in my life, but also it's okay to look back and be like, I could have done this differently. It's okay to take accountability and be like, okay, I probably shouldn't have done that. Or so, yes, living a life with no regrets is freeing and good, but at the same time, I feel like there's a limit to that, and we should take accountability for certain things. However, this also depends on the timeline of how much time passed since the thing that you did that you regret and the moment that you decided that, okay, I regretted doing that. It's kind of, I'm getting a little theoretical, a little philosophical, okay? But it's just like sometimes you can't regret something because at the time that you took that decision, you didn't have enough knowledge to the point of like knowing any better, if that makes sense. But um, I'll give some examples of the experience that I went through, so that it's like you could put the thought to the experience and like make it make sense, basically. But um, I'm somebody who I think um, likes to experience a lot of different lives in different places. So like I'm very okay with like changing countries very quickly, and like I can adapt to living in a country quite easily, I think. Like I'll still have my crash outs and like, oh my god, like why am I doing this? But at the end of the day, I really know how to just go with the flow and like get by, you know what I mean? So I truly see myself being in like anywhere and knowing how to just like get groceries or run an errand and like understand the way things work, okay? Um and I think I'm good with transitions to the point where it's bad a little bit. I'll try to make it not bad, but I think when you like transitions a little too much, you no longer know how to stay in one place, which can be bad, because I think being in one place is sometimes very important for self-development, for your growth, um, everything. Okay, I think it's good to have a balance of both, being okay with transitions and being okay with staying in one place. But I think liking one a little too much can be harmful in some way. um, and it took me a lot of years to make this realization. It took me until like 2 days ago to make this realization. um, and I've been doing like a lot of transitions. I think since I was probably 16. I'm 22 now, so it's just like it's a lot. Okay, and I think what really like um, triggered it or started it or enabled it was me failing eighth grade. Okay, me failing eighth grade was kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I've been at this school for the past um 7 years, and now all of a sudden they're asking me to repeat the year or change schools. And of course, you don't want to repeat a year as a kid. Um, I was 13 at the time, so I was like, yeah, I'll just change schools. And I think me changing schools, that's where my thing for transitioning like started, because I saw how easily I adapted, and I ended up really not liking the school that I went to, and then I was like, okay, I can't handle this, so I waited 2 years, and then I changed. I did online school for, actually I shouldn't say the story of my life, but I just that was the starting point of me just transitioning. I just kept changing schools basically, and now that I went to university in America, which was like a huge like transition, I loved it and everything, but I couldn't see myself being in that one place for 4 years. Okay, like the thought of that feels very difficult for me, and so now I'm doing an exchange, like a exchange year, a study abroad year. Which, funny enough, I'm already studying abroad just by being in America. So now me doing an exchange in the UK is like a double study abroad. Okay, it's a study abroad squared. So it's just now that I'm going through the whole process of actually doing the study abroad and exchanging, which is one hell of a process. Um, kind of thought to myself the other day of like, I already know the people in the university that I'm in America. I'm so familiar with it. I found my way of just being there and enjoying it. I like there's certain things that I genuinely love so much, and it was part of my everyday routine of like, okay, I go to this bagel shop every morning to get myself a coffee and sometimes a bagel. And then I sometimes go to like my shift at my writing center job, which I loved. Like that place like gave me so much peace. And then I just had my classes throughout the day, and then I had my training, and things were kind of smooth. And even though it's very difficult at times, I kind of just got the hang of it. I was like, okay, this is gonna work. This is great. Okay. And now doing that shift is like, okay, I'm doing this whole shift in the middle of my undergrad journey, and I have to kind of start over in a new place that has completely different education system and way of how things work. And it's just like, well, I've reached that point of like like contentment in the place that I transitioned to. And as soon as I reached that point, I just decided to switch. It's like, why am I putting myself through that? And I think the thought came to me the other day, and I had like a mental breakdown, because there has been so much anticipation in the process of actually going to the UK. And I think it feels so like in the air, like it's so not like certain, because there's so much that I have to care about. There's like everything that my university in America is asking me to do, everything that the university in the UK is asking me to do, and then there's two more things that are kind of in the middle. There's the UK government, which wants me to have a visa, obviously, and then there's also the exchange program, which is in the middle of everything, which is also asking me things to do. So it's like I have these four institutions asking me to do shit, and I have to keep up with all of them. And it just hit me because I think I felt very overwhelmed, and I had built it all like up in me, and I just had like a mental breakdown, and I started thinking like, is this even worth it? Like, why am I putting myself through all this? But at the same time, okay, there's these people who remind me that I'm doing something very courageous, and that not many people are willing to put themselves through that because of this process. And and that, like, my willingness to try something new is in of itself just wonderful. And I don't even know what is waiting for me there, and it might be something absolutely life changing. And I think that's my biggest factor that pushes me to want to do shit like this, is that there is something out there that awaits me. But it still feels a little scary, because if I had the mentality that there's all the countries in the world that like I haven't experienced life in, if I have this mentality of like, okay, they all await me, then I'm gonna want to try all of them, and I'm never gonna find myself. And I think this is a much deeper topic. I think Anthony Bourdain touches on this. I haven't read his books or watched like the documentaries, but bro, I've seen clips, like so many clips. My TikTok is filled with Anthony Bourdain clips. But I think what I gathered from him is that no matter how much he traveled, he didn't find what he was looking for. So I think this mentality is good within limits also, because it's like, if I keep thinking every opportunity awaits me, and I want to try every opportunity that is possible, I'm going to be depressed as hell. Okay, I'm gonna be tired also, physically, mentally drained. I'm gonna lose myself in the process, and I don't know. I don't think that works. I don't think that works. However, I think what my way of seeing it right now is that I would love to know what life in the UK is like. I don't know. It's just my curiosity. I visit London pretty often, and I'm in love with the city, genuinely. Like, I know that's such a basic thing to love, like London. Like, okay, like, wow, you love a major city, like, how cool of you. It's really not, you know? But I do love London. And I think, obviously, the place that I'm going to isn't London, but I think it made me want to at least know, like, what education in the UK is like. And also, I think with me it's a little different, because I am an English major, and I think um, just understanding how English is taught in English countries can be beneficial. Okay, um, I would love to talk about why I'm an English major as a Arabic first language speaker. However, we'll keep that for another video, because that is an important topic that I just thought about. But yeah, it does kind of work in the situation that I'm in, being an English major. So going to the UK kind of makes sense. Okay, um, but it's a little scary. Okay, I have moments where I'm like, I have major FOMO that my friends are about to start school in America, and I'm missing out on that and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like, my undergrad is 4 years. My exchange program is 1 year. I'm gonna be like 30 or 40 or 50 one day, and I'm gonna look back, and it's all just a very small part of my life. It's a very crucial part of my life. I think every year is very crucial, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very small thing in the grand scheme of things. And as long as I'm trying to be aware of all these things that I just mentioned, of like, oh, I shouldn't try everything, okay? But also, it's okay to want to transition. As long as I know how to keep that kind of balance, I think life can teach me a lot, and I can take a lot from it. I just think in that moment of me having a mental breakdown, it was very valid to think to myself, okay, maybe I should learn to be more patient. Because I do think that mental breakdown and the level of stress of this transitional process that has the level of stress that it's been, basically, I do think it's trying to give me a sign of like, next time you make a huge transition, try to sit with it for the period of time that it is. And maybe I'm not talking just strictly about my undergrad experience, but maybe one day I'm gonna be doing my master's and God knows where, okay? I don't even know at this point, okay? People ask me and I'm like, bro, I don't even know. Maybe next time, let me just stick with it for a little bit and just take from it what I can. And I think a lot of the time sitting for the full duration of that thing teaches you a lot. It doesn't mean that if you keep changing things and seeing different things that they teach you more. Sometimes sitting for that duration of like 4 years or 5 years or whatever does teach you a lot. Okay, so I think me being in America had a lot of difficulties on me, on my mental health, and I don't know, it was really hard for me. But there was also a lot of good, and I think I reached a point where I knew how to deal with the hardships of it, and I think it's okay if I sit through that pain for a little bit, because there is a lot of good out of it. But those are just thoughts. Obviously, I'm not like regretting this whole thing at all. It's way too soon to even have any thoughts about the thing. So I think now, my mentality now is just like, have no expectations at all for what's to come. Okay, but focus on the process of getting there, because it's a lot. So try to keep up with every little task that you have to do, and honestly, enjoy the fuck out of being in Lebanon, because I'm not here all year long. Okay, I'm here for every once a year for the summer, and this is probably my longest summer since these past 2 years. I've only spent one summer before this, but because it's like a pretty long summer for me, I'm just gonna try to really enjoy being here. And it's hard sometimes not to have school, because I've become so used to going to classes and stuff. So it's hard for me to remain like organized, like, and be productive, and do things that are actually good for me. Um, but that's another thing that I'm learning, is that even though I don't have classes, I should try to set tasks for myself to be productive each day, and to remain healthy mentally. Like right now, my sleep schedule is honestly messed up, and like, I'm somebody who's able to wake up early, and I love waking up early, but I've been waking up late and I hate that. So I should work on fixing my sleep schedule, and like, um just, yeah, I think with the other stuff I'm doing all right. Like, I'm working on essays and articles and poems, and I'm dealing with all the process of the exchange, and like, yeah, I'm keeping myself busy, and I'm also running a lot. But I think right now my sleep is a little messed up, so I'm gonna work on that. I do have to go now, and I think I said everything I want to say. So yeah, I'm glad this was like not a billion minutes long. But stay tuned for more videos to come, more vlogs, more Lebanon vlogs, and support my little channel. I lost a subscriber, so I would really love it if I could gain one back, and maybe 2 or 3 would be great. Um, if you made it this far, thank you. Okay, thank you. You're a real one. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Bye.